And for someone to discriminate somebody who is very close to us just for existing, then we have no place for that. I don't care if we had to fucking cancel the whole thing and the whole trip was a wash. Hi everybody. I'm Eden.
And I'm Jay.
And welcome to EdenxJay Unfiltered, the podcast where we have created a safe and sexy space to have unfiltered conversations.
We might be the same sex, but we have different opinions. Hey!
And that sound means we're back at the podcast place here in Long Beach. So shout out to Solomon for hooking us back up with our buttons.
Yes, I've missed these so much.
I appreciate that.
We're happy to be back. Welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. We did miss last week. I messed up my streak, but with good reason, because now we brought you a YouTube episode to go along with this podcast. So
We've been hearing all of you want to see us while listening to this podcast, so we're bringing it to the big screen.
I don't know why. I kind of miss wearing pajamas and like
Not having to worry about what you're wearing.
No, I'm just like honestly just holding the mic and just getting our words out there. But now I have to like shower and get out the door
Get cute.
and get cute.
But before we begin, please make sure to give this podcast 5 stars, follow at EdenxJay, follow at Preciosa, and keep up with all the amazing things we're doing.
There's a lot of different things happening on different pages, and we're excited to be back here on the podcast. And this episode is extra special because it's our first one that we have guests.
Hey.
DJ button. She's going to keep using that, y'all, the whole
Yep.
episode. So get ready. She's excited.
Hey. And our guests are
Roxy, a.k.a. Johnny the Gentleman, and Tay, a.k.a. Tay Tay, a.k.a. Tay Master.
I am very sexy. The sexy Tay.
The
Sexy Tay.
sexiest.
That's why I married him.
Well, it means a lot for us to have you all here, and we're bringing you on here for a very good reason, because you all have been on this fertility journey with us.
Yes.
Almost like at the same time. There was a point where we were in the Head Start, and then you were in the Head Start, and then we were in the Head Start, you're in the Head Start. But the important thing is that we're going through it together, and it's been amazing having you all as allies.
Yay.
Is it Jay, in every episode does Eden make something a race?
Every single one.
I mean, it's the athlete in her, right?
Literally.
Like-
I get it.
But who's winning? What if we just like slide in there at the last one? We're gonna adopt just you guys.
It's like, boom.
Baby.
Here's our 7-year-olds.
Try it.
Ernie. Here's our 30-year-old.
Oh, God.
We've been raising. Anyways.
No lie detected.
Y'all win.
No.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But what's been amazing is that these two dear friends of ours are friends professionally as well as personally. They have both been a part of Preciosa from the beginning as drag kings.
Yeah.
And we're excited to get into kind of our history and the fertility journey and just like our friendship overall.
True, but before we start, I feel like all of you probably want to know what happened in Houston, because I think that's the last time that we did a podcast.
Oh, Lordy.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
Was the reason why we are back an episode. So this is definitely worth it once you all hear the hell we had to go through to get here. So where do we begin in this Texas journey?
Well, I think the last time we talked, we mentioned we were going on tour, and we did SF, and that was beautiful and amazing, and
So fun.
all the rainbows and butterflies, and it was just such a beautiful Preciosa night. Probably one of the
So
best.
they're asking us to come back, y'all. So stay tuned.
We might have a residency very, very soon in San Francisco. And then we're going to Houston, and we were so excited. I think we all knew it's a pretty reserved state, and, can be Republican certain parts, and is just very conservative. And I personally didn't realize what that looks like IRL. I mean, I think we all had ideas of like what it might be like, but to actually experience it was such an eye opener.
Well, I think just to dive in, the reason why we came to Houston, which was, we throw Preciosa nights and we have these events. And for us, it feels like we can't help it, but we just see you all as like family. So we had a bunch of you drive all the way from Houston, Texas yourself. And for us, we were like, okay, you come to our house. So now it's our turn to go to your house. And I think that was the mentality behind it. It was, there's a huge group that do this drive or fly and all those things. So it made sense for us to try to bring Preciosa to them because not everyone can make that drive or do that flight. So we were like, why not? Let's give it a go. We have already done New York, Mexico City, San Francisco. So we're getting an idea of what it's like to pack it up. But this was the first time we packed it up into a minivan and drive it all the way.
With 5 of our friends.
How many hours was it?
I think it was supposed to be 21.
It ended up being like 28 hours.
Almost 30.
Almost
Okay.
30 hours.
Cool.
I was following a little Roxy gave me a location tracker.
Aw.
Yeah, I
So
shared
it
my
was
location.
like a little sim that was like going on.
Going around.
So you probably saw like our breakdown, our like.
Anytime it stopped for too long, I Googled it and I was like, okay, they're having lunch. Like, I also didn't want to text Roxy because I was like, that's creepy. Don't be like, I triangulated your location.
No.
Tay wasn't able to make it on the trip with us. So they
Yeah.
were watching us from like a godlike perspective
Yeah.
of the iPhone.
Thanks, Apple.
But thank you for keeping an eye on us because there was a couple of touch and go moments.
There's a lot of hiccups on this trip. I think within that first 10 hours, there's not even, I think maybe 10 hours?
It was the first 10 hours we
First
had
10
a breakdown.
hours, the
Yeah.
car broke down. And like, no shade to Turo, but like, we rented this van.
I'm giving all the shit.
We rented this van.
I have a personal vendetta right now.
You do.
Oh, no.
You do.
Answer my bleeping email. Turo, I'm
I'm
looking
Team
at you.
Eden on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Turo sucks.
Well, it was, you know what it was? It was so dangerous because when we first got to our first stop, we ran out of gas. We went to the gas station. You plugged in your iPhone, and like 3 other people all plugged in their iPhone at the same time.
Mhm.
And then the van just was like,
Which shouldn't
No.
be a problem because like we've charged our phones and then our friends' phones if we're traveling or going anywhere. So I don't think any of us thought anything of it.
absolutely not. Like it was just normal. And then next thing you know, the van doesn't start. We lift up the hood, and then there's this battery that looks like it has been corroded for the past, 13 centuries. It just doesn't even look like it's any form of life has ever lived in this battery. It's a different color. It's just all green and disgusting. And it's very obvious that this is the issue as soon as you open the hood. And it's very, very dangerous because it was 3 in the morning? 4 in the
I think
morning?
it was 4 in the morning.
It was 4 in the morning. I
In the
think.
middle of
Nowhere.
Arizona,
Like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were in Arizona and it was in a tiny little town. Like probably there was the only gas station that was open 24 hours.
And there was the next gas station was another 150
Yes.
miles. And
Yeah.
it was just nothing
It was
between
like-
us and next gas station 150 miles.
It was the beginning of the perfect horror movie. Like legit. Like
with no service.
5 queers in the middle of Arizona, in the middle of nowhere, and our car doesn't start.
Oh, and remember, none of us can charge our phones. So we're all on E
Yeah.
on our phones. We're all like the battery is about to give out. And so what the plan was, now that we got jump started, there 150 miles out, there was a Jiffy Lube?
There's Jiffy Lube
Yeah.
that we Googled and we're like, okay, it'll take us X amount to get there. They open at 7. If we can just get to the Jiffy Lube, then we can figure out this whole, not Jiffy Lube, AutoZone.
AutoZone.
AutoZone, then we can figure out this battery situation and then come together and do
And
the damn thing.
The map mapped it perfectly. So theoretically, we had just enough gas to get us the 150 miles to the AutoZone, and we should get there exactly at 7.
Right.
And then I remember you were driving.
well, we took
You
over.
were a
We took
passenger.
over.
We took over.
You-
Yeah.
Because the
Uh-huh.
thing is, also on a road trip, like you need a passenger that's gonna stay up with you because then everybody's passed out. Like
Oh, yeah.
everybody's
Well,
passed
you
out.
came up with the rotation system.
Like an important thing to note that y'all didn't stop.
no.
You just went from like LA to Houston, just
Nonstop.
Nonstop.
no hotel,
no,
No
truck
stopping.
stop,
Yeah.
nothing.
no.
Nothing.
Nope.
I think we were all
rotated.
we were all on adrenaline. Yeah, we made a rotation. I think Gracie took the first shift, and it was like every 5 hours we would rotate,
Mhm.
and then Tiki's, and so it was our turn.
Yeah.
So the one person would drive, one person would keep the other person
Yeah.
awake, and then everybody else would sleep, and then we would just
Rotate every 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then we were all like, okay, this is the plan. We're going to get in the car. We're going to go straight there. We're going to get to this AutoZone, and then we're going to replace the battery, and then we're going to get on the road, and that's going to be the plan. KKK? Everybody on it?
Yeah.
Yay? Okay. I feel the van stop, and then we're in front of what looks like a diner. And in my mind, I was like, oh no, they did not. And they turn back and they look at me and they're like, we're hungry. We stopped to get breakfast at this diner. And I was like, what happened to the plan?
And
the
we forgot, like,
to go to AutoZone because once you turn this van off, it will not turn back on and we're stuck again. So please tell me you did not turn the van off. And then Roxy turns and looks at me and was like,
we both looked at each other. We were like, oh shit, we forgot about the van. Because we got hungry. And we were like,
No, y'all, everybody was delusional.
Yeah.
We needed to
we
sleep.
were Delulu.
how did they forget? We had a mission. There was one job. And then sure enough, like they try to start the van. It's like, and I'm all, well, we're already stuck. We might as well go get breakfast. And, oh,
Yeah, we
my
parked right in
God.
front of this diner, and I was like, but it's got great reviews. Like,
And I'm like,
Aiden's
But
looking
babe, it has
I
great
was-
reviews.
the Antoinette still didn't come out. I was like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. We'll figure it out because the AutoZone was still 2 miles away. I was like, are we gonna push the van 2 miles? I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yep. And then we walked in, and as soon as we walked in, all eyes were on us.
Oh yeah.
I think at this point we were still in Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona.
About to hit
Were we in
Texas?
Arizona? I thought we were in New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico.
No,
Yes,
we were
yes,
in
yes.
New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
New Mexico. Everybody can tell we were definitely not from there.
Not there.
And we walked in, and there was a table of like 16 police officers, like in
Border
one
Patrol.
Border,
Border
Patrol.
Border Patrol. Correction. And in my head, I was like, let's just eat first, and then we'll just ask them to help us because they're just hanging there anyways. Right? What else are they?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they're patrolling the
Exactly.
breakfast.
And
Yeah.
we need some patrolling of our
That's,
own.
yeah, cops are protect and serve, and border patrols like to border and patrol.
I mean that was they were there, and so we ate the breakfast.
Yes.
Then we went up to their table and we're like, hey, can one of you give us a jump start? We're stranded. We're just trying to get to the AutoZone. And they immediately opened up the hood and they all just kind of gasp and make this disgusting sound. I'm like, yeah, I know the battery. It looks like it's from Jurassic Park. But they start just like hammering at it and making all these like weird noises.
Hammering at it.
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
trying to get
Please
all the
note.
corrosion on it.
And
They're trying to
I know-
break it off.
Isn't it a can of Pepsi or like
Oh,
a can
we
of
did
Coke?
that.
We did that.
Yeah. So Thiki's. Shout out to Thiki's. Thiki's like the first time it got jumped, like had some Pepsi or Coke,
And just went,
and just went crunch.
And we were like, what are you doing? She's like, no, this is what you have to do. Like,
I
have
don't
to
even
do.
have battery to confirm if that on
we
my
couldn't even
phone,
Google
if that,
it.
if that was correct or not. I don't
Well,
know.
now
if
we
made
know.
it worse.
Hood
Oh,
life.
that's what you do.
That's what you do. But I don't know if it's one of those old wives' tales, you know, like sana sana,
It
and then like
worked,
the
though.
gunshot will go away.
she cleared some of that
The
stuff off the
gunshot
battery.
will go.
The gunshot.
you know, the
Where did the gun come from?
That's if you have a cold, not if you get shot.
I mean, I felt like it healed all. I don't know. Maybe it was just.
But it was pretty funny because like literally it was 16 Border Patrol guys, right?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And it was so funny because like me and Gracie, because Thiki's was sleeping, and like me and Gracie were just like, y'all go do it. Because
Well, we were like, we were in Arizona. And so immediately.
New Mexico.
I'm sorry, New Mexico. We were in New Mexico. And so immediately Eden and I were like, Johnny, you get in the car because you just never know.
Yeah.
I'm like very weary when it comes to cops or any type of, you know.
just we're erring on the
yeah.
side of caution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, Jay and I were trying to, I don't know, navigate how to help hype them up to get this done because
We were
nothing
like
is working.
playing the dumb, like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. Can you just help us, please?
they try to play the like cute,
Yeah.
hot straight
mean,
girls.
You
That's like
guys
good. Oh
are
yay.
doing such a good job.
And it was 16 of them trying to do a car. It was like weird.
Oh my God. And literally nothing was working. there came a certain point where I was like, okay, I can't play the dumb card. Now I'm like, okay, what is not working because the battery's still not charging, and the doors and everything was still open. And I remember how we got the car to start last time. I made sure everything was off just to fully make sure that the battery is just resting. So I like shut everybody's door, turned everything off. I was like, undo the key, all of it. Just everybody close your eyes. Even I don't want any light to come out.
Don't breathe.
And don't breathe. And then sure enough, we waited like 2 minutes and then the jump start worked. And I was like, we're going straight to AutoZone. No, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. We're getting to AutoZone. We got there. We met one of the most funniest characters I've ever met in my entire life.
So cool.
Eddie. I don't think Eddie will ever hear this podcast, but if you are listening, we love you.
Eddie was this 65-year-old man who was working at AutoZone.
He had 4 teeth.
4 teeth, literally.
He's sick.
Yeah, just like this old, like he's like your Theo, like your old school Theo that's missing teeth and like just wants to talk your ear off all day long and is
Making jokes all the
He
time.
was funny.
Yeah.
He was just like crazy. It's that crazy uncle that can't stop making you laugh. And when he smiles, it just cracks me up even more. But at this point, we're going on over 24 hours of no sleep. So we are a little delusional at this point. So I walk into AutoZone and I'm like, hey, I really need a new battery. Ours is dead. And then he's like, oh, we don't sell batteries here.
straight face.
And then I was like, since when? Because I thought this is what this store was for. He's like, no, I'm just messing with you. And then I'm thinking, oh no, this is how this whole situation is going to go. And so he just kept messing with me the whole time until we get this battery in. They literally, I was just like watching him take the battery out. And then he was like, do you want some acid? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's free. It's right here.
Oh,
And I was like,
that's like what y'all needed at that moment.
It literally was.
I don't know if I
Oh,
want to
it's just
kiss
like a
you or
4-tooth
punch you.
person that we kept telling
Latino
after-
dude just giving you like.
It was like a Huntress Thompson moment, honestly.
You got? Did y'all was what was his name?
Eddie.
Eddie.
Was Eddie real?
Was he?
You know
Was
what?
he? Honestly.
No.
He might have been
Listen.
made up in our head, but he was so funny. And then
Did the gay god send him to make us laugh that
honestly,
morning?
I think we all needed to laugh.
We didn't even do
When
that.
we asked him before we said goodbye, we were like, hey, just for funsies, could I return a battery after I use it? And he's like, technically no, but if you hit up some dumb young kid at another AutoZone and maybe just like show your boobs, I'm sure he'll be like, yeah, return it. And I'm like, Eddie, I'm gonna miss you so much. We
He was-
thought
he
about
was
stopping
hilarious.
by and saying hi
on the
our
way back. Honestly, that's how cool he was.
He really was with his 4 teeth. Man, I miss you.
Aw.
We got back on the road. We all took our rotating shifts. I think I took the shortest shift because nobody liked my driving.
You drove?
I did.
Yeah, for like
Thank you.
2 hours.
Thank
2
you.
hours. Yeah.
Okay.
She was mostly a passenger princess, everyone.
Standard Eden.
I will keep the energy up and keep everybody
I
awake.
think you slept
and
the most.
That's why I kept everybody
Energy.
up.
You were our energy block.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have different skill sets in different ways, and mine came in later on in this story. So thank you very much. So we finally arrive in Texas. We lost a whole day.
Yes.
Which really sucked. And by the time we got to the Airbnb, we were just exhausted. I think our plan was to wake up and be out passing out flyers at 7 a.m. And then boss lady over here was like, you know what? Everybody sleep in because we're not doing anybody any service being zombies at this point.
There's no way. So I think we slept until 11 that day because we just needed it.
Well, my special ass was like, okay, 8 o'clock, cool. So I set my phone for 7
Oh,
and 7:15. I went out. I took a shower the night before, so it was just like boop 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 boop, and I just like got ready, did coffee up there, and then I saw no one was there up, and I was like, oh, okay, are we going anywhere? And then, but because I usually put my phone on sleep.
Oh, that makes sense.
So,
Notification.
I was just like, I didn't get no notification, so I went downstairs again because it was a 2.
I was
Yeah.
wondering who
Birthday.
made the coffee.
That was
was
me.
you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it was so fun. It was like I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. I took off all my clothes, went back on my PJs, went inside, and I just kept watching TV and sleeping.
I think I saw my phone and I was like, absolutely fucking not. I was like, we are not going out until 12 at this point.
Mhm.
Which we did.
Which basically, I think Kilt's plane landed at 12-ish, so we
Mhm.
had to get up and get out. And we picked up Kilt. We grabbed our little flyers. We were all excited.
Super excited, yeah.
To
Checked
pass-
out the gay area.
and, you know, spread the word, let everybody know Preciosa is here and we're ready to party. We only had, 24 hours?
Yeah, we had 24 hours to pass out
At that
flyers
point,
and
yeah,
everything,
before the
yeah.
party.
So we split. We gave you all flyers,
Mhm.
and then Jay and I went to go check out another venue, which originally was our first option when we first came to Houston. But we making it
It
work.
just didn't work out, yeah.
And then there was a very sad and unfortunate phone call that we were not expecting at all
Yeah, we were
Mhm.
we were sitting in the car on our way to you guys actually
Mhm.
with our venue booker.
with our venue booker, and then she calls us and she's like, "I don't even know how to tell you this. Like, the venue is not okay with drag performances or anybody that's trans because they're worried that their crowd will get the wrong impression and they don't want to scare away their regulars. So you either take out the drag show altogether or they cannot accommodate your party." Which was insane considering it was less than 24 hours before the events. There were contracts in place. We sent them our social media, which
We sent them
has
a kit.
performers all over. There's a kit that tells
a
you
whole
exactly what our
media
vibe is, like a media kit. So it was just like, I don't know, like a punch to the gut at that point.
I mean, it wasn't even a question of what we were going to do. It was more of like, now what do we do? Because we are not going to, it's all of us or none of us when it comes to Preciosa. So if they're asking us to remove drag and remove Johnny from our programming, we're going to remove ourselves.
Nope.
These buttons before we do anything else like that. And I don't think we had enough time to actually process
Yeah.
what was being asked of us. We just reread the contract. We're like, okay, we're good. Everybody's in the clear. Let's rip this up. We're done.
Yeah,
We're
I think we were
separate
nervous that we
ourselves.
were going to get penalized
Mhm.
because we had already spent X amount of money and we were already like, we were banking on like
Yeah.
certain things to happen at this bar, and now it was like, oh, well, it's an L. Like,
It's gone.
It's just
Yeah.
it's gone. But now we need to figure out where we're gonna have this party because we have like 200 plus people that
Yeah.
are expecting to party in 24 hours, and we have no bar, nowhere to go.
I'm just trying to imagine Johnny scaring anybody.
I know.
Like,
It's it. Look, I mean, for me,
unless Johnny's a ghost.
I,
You're not a ghost.
I'm a pretty cute, comfy ghost. Maybe I'm like Casper. Like I would be Casper in a ghost.
The
Like
friendly
Like
ghost.
like the Latino Devon Sawa.
Yeah,
Casper.
exactly.
Like, oh, I want to kiss that ghost.
there you go. Like it made no sense to me, but it's
Yeah.
so funny because I had a suspicion about it.
Really?
Yeah, because I was just
No
like,
way.
because I was like, a straight bar
Mhm.
being okay with a Latin WLW
Yeah.
event. I get it, fetishizing like two girl Latinos like kissing, get it, whatever. But I was
People
like,
Google that all the time.
yeah, they
Well,
Google it all the time. But
the
it's
bar
like,
didn't have us like it. The bar when we had these conversations, they had us feel like we were under the impression that
Mhm.
they had queer events all
Yeah.
the time,
We have
They're
like
queer
text message like
inclusive.
receipts of them
Mhm.
saying
And
like, oh, we do
emails.
it all the time.
and they were like really excited to like revamp their queer programming and make it a regular thing at this bar. And we're
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
great, love that we can help set this off for 2024, and we were all on the same page. But apparently, we were reading completely different books.
But you know what? Like, I will say, I don't think it wasn't until that moment that I realized all the shit that you have to go through on like a daily basis.
Mhm.
Because I'm so used to just us being like, Eden and I are like, wherever we go, we'll always take you.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no question about it. If we keep growing, you're going to grow. We're always going to take our DJs. Like, we're always going to take our friends to the next level. And it was at that moment where I realized, oh shit, no, like, he deals with this all the time,
Mhm.
you know?
It was really hard for us to figure out now how are we going to have this conversation. Like it was two parts of our brain, right? It was this like emotional personal part, but then
Mhm.
also like this business part of now what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So like let's try to figure this out because we have over 200 bodies that in less than 24 hours we have to give them space and we have nowhere to go. And originally we were already planning on having Preciosa at a queer space to begin with, but
Mhm.
then obviously that didn't fall through. And now we're not welcomed at a lot of other queer bars here in Houston for whatever reason. And we're just having to figure it out. So we went door to door and started knocking, pitching and pleading, like, hey, we have this party. We really, we have everything. We have the DJs, we have the performers, we have
We even have the
tickets.
mixer. We have
We have the
everything.
mixer. Like, we just need a speaker, some lights, and like a roof. It doesn't have a roof. I'm not even picky right now.
Y'all had a
like,
cow costume.
like, we had a
We had
cow
a cow. We
costume.
had a heart.
We had a heart and everything.
You know, everything.
Bracelets.
Bracelets.
all the things.
What
like
you want?
we
What
had
you
a
want?
party and we found this bar buddies who had nothing going on. I guess the next day.
They had Drag Race next door. It was like a 2-part bar with like a column that was separated them. And he's like, I have Drag Race next door, but it's just a viewing. This area doesn't have anything. They had like a poetry slam until like 8:30. And I was like, that's perfect. Our party starts at 9. We'll like hustle and we'll turn everything around in 30 minutes.
Speaking for myself at least, like as a performer and as a trans person, like you said, like we have to deal with this on a regular basis. Like me and Tay have to deal with this all the time. And unfortunately, being a trans person, especially a trans person that travels, you have to be very cautious and you kind of have to you create your own kind of safety guidelines of like, okay, so the way to if you're in this situation, like pass off as this or pass off like that, or if this person says this or this venue says this, like be cautious because they might turn it around real quick because it's kind of the ideology of like, oh, there are straight men who fetishize about trans women, but they will never say it out loud. It's just what they have in mind, and just like that, we also are fetishized, especially drag kings, trans mass people. I've had Rue girls send me their dick pics before, and I didn't
And I
ask
fucked
for
them up.
And this one fucked them up.
Ooh.
Like,
Mhm.
and I didn't even ask for it.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like being in a southern state, especially in like red states, we have to be that way. We have to have this like this kind of mentality where it's just like I'm breaking down inside right now. And I was breaking down at that moment.
Really?
Because for me, I'm like, y'all are my friends. I don't want you to go through this. And by having me in your space, like I felt bad because that's something that nobody should feel. And we unfortunately have to deal with that on a regular basis. And we have to prepare ourselves mentally for it. And it just isn't fair when good people want to give space and visibility to the people they care about. And the thing about y'all is like, I was ready for y'all to be like, is it okay if you just sit it out? And I was ready for it. And I was like, let's go. Like, I was still going to go. I was still going to help out. Like, I was still going to be a part of it. But like, when y'all said like, no, we're going to find a new venue, like, my mental capacity was jaw dropped because never in my life has anybody done that for me beside this one. And that includes my family. That includes everybody in my life. Beside Taylor, y'all have been the only ones that I already said, like, we stand by you. That's it.
Like it makes me happy and it hurts at the same time because I get what you were thinking. From like a business perspective, we have this show that must go on,
Yeah.
but it's not a show without you.
Yeah.
And for someone to discriminate somebody who is very close to us just for existing, then we have no place for that. I don't care if we had to fucking cancel the whole thing and the whole trip was a wash. It would not have been worth compromising who we are and who we are as a movement and who we are together as a unit. Like you've put in so much to Preciosa. Preciosa will never leave you like high and dry like that. And like we always have your back, even when it's hard. And I feel like this is only the beginning and it's only going to keep getting hard.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, we're just going to keep getting stronger. And the
Yeah.
more haters that come our way, the stronger we're going to get. And we're all, family. We rode through the freaking wilderness in a minivan and, made
We
it
went
out on
through
the
the
other side.
seasons.
Every
Literally.
season. Hail. I think there
Yeah.
was a tornado at some point.
Yeah.
There wasn't a tornado. Y'all saw the car for the tornado. It was one of those pickup trucks that had like the poles
Tornado
on it.
tracker.
It's like the one that you saw on
Radar?
Twister. You remember Twister? And they would like chase.
They go
Twister was
track
on
it.
the TV yesterday.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
know.
how?
Yeah, my family had it on,
Relatable.
like in the back, and
Like
I was just like,
triggering.
"Oh no, not this."
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
But
that
not
was
to make light of it. I mean, I feel like I'm sorry that you thought we were gonna drop you. That was never like
Yeah.
that never crossed our mind.
Yeah.
It was like we're either finding a new venue or we're going home
Yeah.
like together, one or the other.
But see, that's the thing is like, in me, like us as trans people, we always have I at least have experienced friends that have been like, ride die for you, all these things. And then when the situation happens, they're just
Mm.
like, dip out.
And you get it. You're like, yeah, this sucks. I get it.
Yeah, like you shouldn't go through this shit. Like I get it. Like if you gotta save yourself, Like we can stand on our own and we are strong people, us as a community. But to have friends like both of you to be like, no, like it's all of us or nothing. Like we ride die for each other. Like the action in it is the most meaningful thing for me because people can say all the fucking words in the world, but it's the actions that speak up and that mean a lot. And like at that moment in time and just looking around and everybody being like, no, like without Johnny, we're not going anywhere. Like seeing that kind of ripple effect for me as especially as like your friend and as a trans person and a person that is a drag performer in the South, like at that moment was kind of like, wow, for me, because like I said, this was the first time besides Taylor, like whoever actually like stood up and said like, no,
Mhm.
this is it. It's like, it's us or nothing.
All the DJs, everybody had your back. None of them told us because what a lot of people don't know is that when we agreed to, do this new venue, the bar owner was like, "You can have your event tomorrow. Can you help me out tonight? It's Latin night, but our
Mhm.
DJ canceled. Would you guys be willing to DJ tonight and tomorrow?"
Mhm.
And we were like, we went to our DJs and we're like, "Hey, I know this is a lot to ask of you. You weren't prepared to work 2 nights back to back. I think like what do you want to do? We're not going to force you, but these are the options that we're being, that are on the table." Without a question. They didn't even say yes. They just put their backpack down and started hooking up their equipment and like figuring it out. And we
Yeah.
all have your back.
Yeah.
There wasn't anyone that was, die hard wanting to have this party at this venue. It's like Johnny's not in, we're all not in, and now what do we do together as a team? If we said we were all packing up our stuff and going home, they would have done the same thing as well. Basically, like I had to have a huge just emotional mental
Mhm.
breakdown on the patio before the party because I think that's when it really hit me just what my friend had to go through and being discriminated to that extent. And we all walk through this world with some form of privilege.
Mhm.
And I think we forget when somebody else is at a disadvantage and is discriminated to, this degree, it's hurtful. And I think for me, it's just when I hold my frustration inside and I had to put a pin in it and I'm like, I can't deal with this until I get home. So I have to sit with it in a van and do this party and all these things. And sure enough, after
And that's
like
why Antoinette came
8
out.
That's
shots
why
of
Antoinette came
tequila.
out.
8 shots of tequila, Antoinette came out and she was just not happy and she was
Oh,
so
not
mad.
happy.
For those of you
at
that don't
all.
know, Eden has an alter ego when she drinks, and it doesn't
Not
happen.
my only alter ego. I am a
That-
Gemini.
I
I
was
have
just gonna say
a
that.
couple of them. No, they're not all like this.
She has some really good ones,
Yeah.
but there's Antoinette, and Antoinette is not nice and is very intense, and she comes out not often, but this one I think it made sense because you're bottling in all your feelings,
Mhm.
and we finally pulled this off, and it was a Hail Mary type of situation.
We did so well, everybody together.
That's what I mean.
But I was, I think, in so many feels. I never drink at Preciosa.
Mhm.
And this time, anytime somebody gave me a shot, I took it.
And I counted 4, you guys.
That's
and like
the
the
ones that
first
you counted.
the ones that I counted. I counted 4 within the first hour of Preciosa being open. I was like, okay, it's gonna be one of these nights. Like, let's prepare.
Antoinette has entered the building.
Antoinette.
God. But when she's out, there is no putting her back in.
No.
You have to just avoid eye contact.
And that's what we all
Literally.
did. We're all like,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
know.
It was hilarious. It was just so funny because at the end of the night, like you just didn't want to leave.
Yep.
And then like we're all trying to pack up. We're trying to clean up because some like white dude was just like, all right, guys, just better. Let's get out of here. And then it's just like, all right, cool, whatever. So we were just gathering our stuff and then like unpacking it into the back of the van and, you know, give it up for Killed being the best like
I think we
drunk
pawned
babysitter.
we pawned Eden off to
to
kill.
Killed.
Poor
Because we all had to break down and we're like, Killed, I feel like you can handle her. We're just gonna give her to you so that we can clean up and get the heck out of
Yeah.
here.
How did she handle me?
Oh, and Killed was like, you know what? My wife is the same way. Like, I got this.
It's
Oh,
fine.
Amber has an Antoinette too.
Amber has an Antoinette, believe it or not.
Everybody has that
Everybody has
persona.
an Antoinette.
Really?
Everybody has
I'm
an
so
Antoinette.
bitter.
Yeah.
It's
It's
over.
So
Oh
bad
no!
right now.
Have I ever been? I feel like I've been belligerent twice.
Yeah, twice. That
One
was
time I accidentally. It's because I was working with this company from Ireland and they sent me whiskey,
really nice whiskey, by the way.
but it was double proof.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know. I said, no, that's just the brand. And I just, and it was so good you didn't
It
know.
was smooth as hell.
Ooh, and
so
and
good.
I was
The bottle.
mad.
And it's not fun at all. Not fun at all.
I don't know what was up with. I know what was up with her, and she bottled a lot. But I appreciate all of you dealing with her. I promise you, she will not ever come back out again.
But it was
I want
so.
to see Antoinette.
No, you want to see
not.
Antoinette.
You wanna see Antoinette.
No,
Antoinette.
we look. We have to be
It's fun
true friends.
after the
And
not when you're experiencing it.
I like chaos.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I was just like, come on. No, this one has to see. I think
there was a-
Antoinette would have fun with this one.
There was a moment where I hear this is like third party information that
Tell
happened
us.
from you guys. That Antoinette was being like a dictator. Was like
Literally.
criticizing the way people were packing
Packing
up.
up.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't happening fast enough, and it wasn't.
She was
like,
in
nobody
the
was
va-
It
doing
was-
it right.
She was in the van and she's like looking behind the van. And like Johnny and I are like putting stuff away. Tiki's is like breaking down our stand. And she's like, do you need help? Do you guys need help? Because I'm a builder. I can do it. It seems
I
like
can
you need
build
help.
things.
Builder. Antoinette's a builder, y'all. She gonna build you a house.
She's gonna build you a house,
And
a
we're
bar.
like, none of us are making eye contact. We're like, don't
You're like,
don't even acknowledge.
Don't look at her.
Don't even acknowledge anything she's saying right now. Because if you made eye contact, she was like,
She's going for you.
Stronger.
She's gonna she's gonna suck your soul. I swear to God.
literally.
Oh my god!
And
They're
it-
like, don't look at her. Just keep going.
And it got to a
everybody."
point where like Gracie and I were telling Tikis because Tikis was taking
Yes.
her time.
Well, because okay, this is the thing. Haha, Kiki on all y'all. Antoinette was right. Antoinette was fucking right because Tiki's was using a screwdriver that I happen to know how it works, and drunk me still knew how it worked. That's why
Yeah.
I told you I could build things. And
By the way, you don't build a lot with a screwdriver. You build like a hammer and nails.
Yeah.
I mean, the way she was using it, she didn't know that there's a button that makes the screw go in reverse to unscrew a screw.
Oh.
So she was just manually twisting the electric screwdriver because she thought it doesn't go the other way. And Antoinette was trying to articulate that I could do it
In a not nice way.
in a
Not
not,
a-
nice way.
It was very sassy. It was
Very
like
sassafras.
like-
it was sassafras.
You're not doing it fast enough.
Yeah.
Do you need me to get out the van?
Yeah. I
Like
can
that.
build things.
And we were like, no.
And like she had this like very like
Intense.
intense face where it was like it reminded me of like my tias in Nicaragua that are so
Oh, wow.
serious and fierce that they were just like
Yeah. It was like that.
Oh, she had a scandalo face.
Yes.
Escándalo
Oh,
face.
I'm so
Yes,
Puro
like that.
escándalo face. Like me and Gracie were like, I kind of wish we did look at her and took a picture of it just to make it put it on
I would have
the
ripped
TV.
your phone at you.
Yeah.
You would have
Get
gone
into
with
a
your
Preciosa
arm.
t-shirt.
Exactly.
It's Antoinette time.
No, it's just like your face when you said you're not going to Preciosa.
Well,
Like,
I feel like now you can have T-shirts that say "I survived Antoinette" as a souvenir.
I survived Antoinette and Houston.
oh, can we do that,
I
please?
love
oh,
that.
I
I
wear
want
that
one.
when I go into labor.
Hell yeah.
The
Yes.
Let's do
T-shirts
it.
will be available at Preciosa.com website.
Limited
promo code
edition.
Antoinette.
Yes. And that is the short story of, not so short story of what happened in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall we should be very proud of ourselves. We accomplished it. We didn't quit. It was a great party.
So good.
Like crazy, like it was just
Yeah.
awesome.
That was more than I expected.
Yeah.
There was like, what?
So
There was
many.
like over 200.
Over 200.
Yeah.
Maybe over 200 people. It was packed up. Like I just kept. I
They
couldn't
ran out
see
of
it.
tequila. I don't know.
They
if you
ran out of
know.
tequila.
The bar
bar.
ran out of
Yeah.
tequila.
I mean, if there's any metric of success,
They ran out of
Yeah.
if
tequila.
you run out of tequila on a Latino night.
Yeah, right.
Aw.
But it was really nice. It was really cool. Like it meant a lot for the people that like it meant a lot to a lot of people. It seemed like for those listening, I'm trans masculine non-binary. Tay is just plain non-binary.
Just plain non-binary.
So
Just your local they, them,
local they them
They.
in the farm.
serving you home cooked
Oh my God.
androgyny.
I know you do sound like Eddie.
Right. They are from New Mexico. so
I'm
it
here to
makes sense.
kill you. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, not to be on the same. We're not on the same par, the same situation, but like
Yep.
with the misgendering, like we definitely get. What is the term for like miscoupled?
I
Like where they just assume that we're straight every time we are on a call with any sort of
Mm.
insurance or
Mhm.
doctor or any sort of important anything. It's always so
Where's
your
your husband?
husband. Where's
Oh
your
God, yeah.
husband? Or will your husband be joining you? Or yesterday I was calling about car insurance and like shopping around, just saying like what the new rate is, and sure enough, will you be adding your husband to your policy? And I'm like, no, I will not be. He does not exist. I have a wife. My wife will be on my policy, and it's still here. We are like 4 years later, and we're still dealing with this. And I'm like, am I going to be doing this until we die?
Probably.
Yeah,
Like-
probably.
probably.
Yeah,
Oh my god! And
it's a queer thing.
I mean,
It-
even
Yeah.
even when it came to like IVF and stuff,
yeah.
like that was crazy.
I think hospitals haven't gotten up to date enough about queer inclusivity and
Mhm.
how to be sensitive, especially because we had Kaiser, and I felt like they were so far in the past. We're
Mm.
getting Miss Husband assigned. I don't know what to call it. Can please somebody like help me out with this word? If there's not even a terminology for it. But just assuming that I had a husband or that my husband will be joining me every single appointment, every day. It felt like I was coming out to a new doctor or a new nurse, just basically explaining that no, I have a wife and this is my situation.
Mhm.
And I just wish it was just auto on my chart, so I didn't have to keep coming out to every person in this, through this process. And honestly, I couldn't wait to get out of Kaiser fast enough.
yeah.
But it felt like there was just no training. Like everyone just assumed because I was having infertility issues that it was with a man.
hmm
And it just was completely frustrating and aggravating and almost defeating at a certain point because you had gone through it so much where I'm like, this isn't fun anymore. You took away the magic of the thing I was supposed to be excited about.
Yeah.
Because now I'm annoyed. And now I dread going to the next appointment because I just want to wear like gay on my head so it could just have the conversation for me so I don't have to have it again.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And then you almost like went hands to
Ballistic.
hands with a freaking nurse because you had enough of it too.
Yeah. Well, my situation, I was doing the balloon test, which is something that you do when we're going through it. It was to check my walls, my inner walls, to make sure that I can carry full term.
Doesn't it sound fun, everyone?
Right?
Yeah,
Balloon
sounds
test.
super.
They
Ooh,
shove
sign
a
me
balloon
up.
up your vagina
Ah,
And
so
they
hot.
blow it up.
and they blow it out.
I want to make
Like
it into a
that.
doggy.
Balloon animals, can you
Yeah, just
imagine?
sculpt it in there.
Not a balloon animal test.
Yeah, and like And I guess you're supposed to take a pregnancy test before you go in to do this balloon test. No one told me that I had to take a pregnancy test, so I showed up, and the nurse is like, "Okay," like I was already in my gown, ready to go in, and she's like, "I'm looking at your chart. It says you haven't taken a pregnancy test. We can't see you unless you're not pregnant. Like we have to guarantee that you're not pregnant."
What?
And I was like, "I'm gay. Like I'm trying to have a baby with my wife. I'm not pregnant. Like that's why I'm here."
Jesus.
To try to get pregnant. And she's like, "Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if you have a husband. I can't confirm like that you're not pregnant. So like we have to cancel this appointment altogether."
What?
And her level of frustration and desperation where the next step happens is because we waited 6 months to get this appointment.
Yes.
And by a fluke,
I have to wait.
in the
Yeah.
paperwork, somebody missed something in the paperwork. So we had to wait another 6 months. So a whole year has passed. And now
Yeah.
we finally have another appointment.
And she's like, "I'm gonna have to cancel this. You're gonna have to come back and reschedule
6
it."
months. Another
And I'm in my
6
gown
Ah.
and I'm looking at her and I think it's the first time I've ever gone off on a nurse, but I was like, "I am not leaving this room until you give me this fucking test." And I was like,
Damn.
"Yeah." And she was like,
you're gonna handcuff yourself.
"No," I was like, "I am literally not leaving this
I can
fucking
totally
room."
see
Get the
that.
cops.
And I was like, get your supervisor, get whoever you need to talk to, get the doctor. Like, I am not leaving.
I'm just sitting in the waiting room.
And Eden's just like, doo doo doo. I
hope
hope she's
balloon
doing
animals
great.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how
Yeah.
she comes out.
And she was arguing back and forth with me. She's like, "Ma'am, I can't help you. Like, you need to leave." And I was like, "I'm not leaving." And so she ended up leaving to talk to the doctor. And I guess she explained the situation. Doctor came in and doctor tried to tell me the same exact thing. Like, you need to have a pregnancy test. And I was like, I waited a whole year to like take this test. I am not leaving until you do the balloon test. I promise you I'm not pregnant. I'm literally gay. I'm married to a woman. It's physically impossible unless I'm the Virgin Mary, and I'm not. So please, like, fucking do the test.
Yeah.
And she was just like, "Okay, but if you're pregnant, like that's on you." And I was like, "I'm not. I promise you I'm not. Like, just do the fucking test." And it got really intense. And like they looked at each other and the doctor's like, "All right, I'm gonna do the test." Like,
Maybe you
she's
signed
not
a
budging.
liability
Yeah, they made
waiver.
me sign a liability wager, like,
Not my
like
fault.
all these things, like waiver. Yeah, like if anything happens and I'm pregnant, it's not on them. And I was like, "I'm not. I will sign whatever you need me to sign." We go and do the test. And as she's under the hood, she's popping the balloon. And she's like, "Oh, look at that. You're not pregnant." And I was like, "Duh, you
Nah,
idiot."
shit,
Like,
Sherlock.
If I could queef in your face.
literally, I
I
would
would
have.
fucking queef.
That
in
would
the
be a
damn
superpower.
face.
Yes.
I really hope I was eating some beans, bitch, because I would
Oh, man.
fart that shit.
Like,
in your
oh, look,
face.
but I am pregnant with Bethels. Fart in your face, you dumb bitch.
Tikis.
Stupid bitch.
Literally, tiki's.
Oh my god, but you made it out.
I made it out, and
You
I was
did
just
it.
like, I was
Yay.
like bawling because I was so frustrated after I left, and to think, and then I was like, thank God that I am like a persistent person, and that I was like, fuck this, you have to give me this test. But can you imagine someone who isn't as like confident, or like that would have just taken the L, or would have just been like, damn, I guess I can't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just, it makes me really upset.
What you're saying is such a kind of microcosm of the queer reproductive experience, where people don't necessarily give you all the information. It's completely on you to
Mhm.
figure it out.
Mhm.
And the wait times are insane. And you have to be such a strong advocate for yourself because nobody else is coming for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No one's going to help you. And I think that's why it was so important that we found, our tribe to help each other, because then we would call you and tell you the
Yeah.
bullshit we had to go through. You would call us and tell us the bullshit you had to go through.
Yeah.
So it felt like, even though we were screaming and crying through this experience sometimes, when it was supposed to be happy
Mhm.
and exciting, we could lean on each other to go through it, because even though we are different types of queer, we still had, struggles in our own way of trying to make our own family happen.
Yep.
And the system making it unnecessarily harder than it already is.
Within an already
Mm-hmm.
difficult healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand, like, when we're doing this, it's because there is like no doubt in our mind that we want to do this. It's not like we're signing up to throw our entire life savings at this. It's not like we're signing up to put our bodies through all of this torture and, do all of these different things because it's fun for fun. We have nothing
Yeah, for
better to do.
funsies.
I like drama.
Do it for the plot. We're doing it because we want to freaking make a family.
Yeah.
And you don't understand too is that some of us don't have these large windows. And let's say Jay's appointment had been pushed another 6 months or a year because everything happened the way that it did. I had no idea how bad my fertility was.
Mhm.
And the doctors were saying if I had waited 1 more year, I would have been deemed like completely infertile and we could have only used Jay's eggs and Jay's, embryos and I wouldn't have even had an option. So thank goodness she like fought for it. Thank goodness we did everything the way that we did. But that was such a small window that we could have missed had, we just given up or just was like, okay, well, they said we have to take a pregnancy test and here's another 2 years down the drain.
Mhm.
So it's so important that we keep, fighting in these spaces
And
we help
talking
each
about this,
other.
honestly, because I think not enough queer couples or just
Yeah.
queer people that are trying to have babies are talking about it.
And it's meant so much to be able to have friends that are going through the same thing because it's just different. Like creating queer families the way we're doing it is just different. And it can feel really isolating, especially it can feel like you're taking crazy pills where we made a preconception appointment. Like all these words I'm learning. I'm like, oh, preconception, right. And may I have one, please? Like we scheduled our preconception appointment when we had been dating for 6 months.
6 months.
And also
Very
we
U-Haul
had
of
made
you.
some.
Very you.
It was the closest
Here's the
thing to
thing
you,
I have to
Holly.
say, no, because we had taken like an oath when we first started
Yeah.
dating that because we both have like codependent tendencies. So we made like these rules that were like, you have like no big grand gestures, no buying things on credit cards,
No proposing.
and no
within a year.
proposing within a year. That being said, healthcare is its own beast. So I was like, this is what I'm going through. You can take it or leave it.
Yeah, they gave me the option. They sat me down and they were like, "Hey, so I want to have kids in like at that time they were saying, I want to start the process within the next year or two. To have kids. I don't know if you're ready for that. I know you want kids. Because for people that don't know, we have a big age gap. So, not big, but it's queer good. But it's they were just like, I want to do this.
We
if
have an
you're-
8-year age gap.
we have it.
I'll just say
You're like, it's like a healthy age gap.
Yeah.
What does that
I'm not that
mean?
big.
You
You made
have
it seem like just
Sorry.
a gigantic vagina's worth of an age gap.
25 year.
Yeah. I'm 80. I need to have kids.
She just has really good Botox.
But it's
God
just
damn.
I'm an AI of myself.
but it was, they were very sweet about it and they were very honest, which was new to me at that time. But they were like, I want to start the process of making children. If you're not ready for that, I totally understand.
Oh,
And
I had no idea.
Yeah.
6 months in.
it was 6 months in.
Because, like y'all, are saying, the wait to get this particular OB was, I can't remember if it was 6 months or 8 months out.
Yeah.
Because she had been booked for the year, but she was taking new people next year.
Mm.
So I was like, yes. And they were like, well, the next thing is like 8 months. I was like, I'll take it. Because she was not just queer friendly, she was trans friendly. She literally taught seminars on trans mask fertility.
Fertility and
way.
pregnancy. Yeah.
And also she was Latina.
What? Drop the Addy.
So that's,
Yeah.
I was like, do you understand? Like,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah. And so, but like, they were like, I
The hottest
understand
club
it.
to get into.
Yeah, but they were just like, I want to do this. If you're not ready, I totally understand. We can still be friends. All these things, like
Like nothing's happening. I'm
whatever.
just making an
Nothing's happening.
appointment.
Yeah, but like making it a point, And I get it because in the queer world, at least in my experience, like the queer world, the we have this stereotype that we don't have kids. We don't want to get married. We're just all at WeHo getting partied and
Yeah, especially if you come from the city.
yeah.
Like if you're in the city, then it's just like party, party, party.
Yeah. So it's just like by that time I already knew like this was the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. I wanted to have kids with them. I wanted everything with them. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. because I was just like I wanted to start my planning at 35 anyways. It's not too far away. It's fine, and I knew that I wanted to be with them for the rest of my life.
I mean, you
So
bring up a really good point, and this is something that we keep preaching on our social media and everywhere else, which is if you're just thinking that you want to have kids in the next 3 to 5 years, start now
start now.
because this process it's like hurry up and wait type of thing. It takes a long time
And money.
and money.
Booking the
Booking the appointments. They're
Yes.
always 6 months to 8 months to a year out, and then
Doing the research,
all the things,
testing,
Mhm.
like gathering the
learning all the
money.
words.
all the
All of it.
terminology.
That takes at least a year.
Like I needed to see a reproductive endocrinologist, and I was like, okay, thank you. And I got very scared. I was like, I don't want to do it.
And then you got to work up the anxiety. It's just all of these different layers and all these different steps to make it happen. And it doesn't happen overnight. I think there does come a point once you're, in the process that it does feel pretty fast. Like once, it's time to buy the drugs, then it's, full roller coaster, all gas, no brakes. And then you're just along for the ride. But getting there takes time.
Mhm.
And I think we all kind of did it in a similar way where we broke it up a little bit. Taya, you had already frozen your eggs
Mhm.
like prior. So that was already a lump of money and that was time. And then you give yourself some time to replenish back up again and start the second phase, which, for us, it was our first phase, which was we picked a sperm donor. And then
we
were
did it
like-
backwards, yeah.
We did it backwards. Well, it's like at this point, we're like, okay, let's just,
What's the
sperm or
order?
the egg? Chicken or the
Everybody
egg?
has their
Chicken or
own
the
order,
egg.
like everybody has their own order. It's like whatever you want it to be.
Mhm.
But I preferred it. I preferred just making the embryos because obviously we were already married. Like this was already in our journey, so there wasn't really a point to freeze it because our timeline was already pretty short.
Mhm.
So it's like, all right, let's make embryos. But what's going to be the point of freezing the eggs if we don't have anything to make it with?
Yeah.
So our first step was like, okay, let's start with the sperm, searching all the different cryobanks and figuring out who has what's going on, what are the pros and cons, and then landing with California Cryobank.
Which, fun fact, we all have babies.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
California Cryobank.
CCC babies.
California Cryobank.
California
Yeah.
Cryobank. They're gonna be little cryobank babies.
They are
Yeah.
cryobank babies.
My
And
ne-
then we got
Yeah, we have our nephew that's a cryobank baby.
Confirmed
What?
pregnancy too.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're like we
Little
liked-
Bronxy.
Yeah, and it was so helpful when we had to pick a donor. When we all when we kind of had like a slumber party.
It was
It
so
was
much
very much a
fun.
slumber
to
party.
just when y'all came over and we were like, okay, so here are the people we're thinking of. And I thought what I was most surprised at when we were all looking, when y'all helped us choose our donor is I always think in life, like I'm very no nonsense, like I'm a good judge of character, whatever. But I was the one of all four of us
Yeah.
that was like, he sounds nice. We should give him a chance. And you're like, no, he sounds
No.
like a whiny little bitch. And I was like, well, maybe they just caught him like he had a cold. Like I couldn't believe where my heart was and all of it. And then I was like, oh, this is maybe why my radar with men is bad. No.
Well, it's like
I wanted to
yeah.
give everybody a chance. I was like, just shake them all up and
No.
surprise me.
And my thing was like, look, I have raised kids since I was 9. I know the important thing for me at least is like I have a great relationship with my kid. The traits meshed well with mine are gonna be, and I know a majority of that is raising a child, but I wanted to make sure we got like a donor that kind of like if we were hetero, we would be a great vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's why, and I wanted like we both wanted something. I feel like my vision when I was so picky about it was because I wanted like a sperm that would like if we were to have babies with both of us, like they would still be us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we wanted to avoid nanny syndrome.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, we
For-
didn't.
Personally.
That's
Yeah.
your deepest fear is nanny syndrome.
which is where
Nanny syndrome.
like
Sure, womp, womp, womp.
we want for both the kids.
Yeah. Same. I mean, that's real. I think for me, my biggest fear is that our donor is 6'2",
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm 5'2". Like, I'm gonna have a giant come out of a 5'2". like
You gotta have a
uterus.
C-section, all
Get
birth
it.
is natural
It's
birth.
a roll of the dice, babies. No guarantee.
Fast forward to me giving like birth to like a 3
But at the same but at the same time, who's the mom
That's true.
that all the fucking basketball players are scared of?
That part.
It's the one that's 4'9".
That's true. You're right. You're right. You
It's
make me
true.
feel
It's
better.
true.
that part.
So
And
you're gonna be like, look at
At
what?
a certain point,
What?
when the shorter you get, the more powerful you get. Like you pass a certain threshold, and then you just become more intimidating.
I love that.
I mean, that's the thing with Latin genetics too, is that, like you said, you just like shake it up and like surprise me. Even if we can plan out as much as we can plan out, like the horoscope, the this, the that, and here is our checklist of what I would, want in a sperm donor, and you had your checklist of what you wanted in a sperm donor. We had to somehow meet in the middle, and we found the one, like on paper. He
Mhm.
sounded great. And we still don't know what we're going to come out with at the end
Yeah.
of the day. Like, my family is an array of spectrum between like super light to like Afro Latino and
Mhm.
indigenous. And I have grandparents that have green eyes and blue eyes. My mom has like hazel green. My mom still like complained about my dad. Like, she reminds me, she took every opportunity to throw it in my face and be like, you should have had green eyes and I put in the order, but your dad, and never let me forget that it was my father's fault that I have brown eyes. But at the end of
Beautiful brown eyes.
They're beautiful
Love
brown eyes.
beautiful
thank
brown
you
eyes.
so much. They've grown on me over the years.
They're light brown eyes.
They are.
They're not poop brown eyes.
No.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we don't need to be getting into.
I
these.
agree.
What? But look,
You
no shade to
know,
my sisters,
Tay, I'm
but they
with
all have
you.
poop brown eyes. Okay,
They're all really pretty.
they're very pretty, but the
Nerd.
poop brown eyes. I'm just
But,
saying.
the baby could have colored eyes. The baby could have poop brown eyes. It could have light brown eyes. Yeah, 1-on-1, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's
That
still
would be
a
cool.
roll
I
of
want a
the dice.
Bowie.
I had a friend
She
that
was
was
a
like,
Bowie
Bowie's
so
so
bad.
bad.
Very cool.
I had a friend in elementary school that was a Bowie. She had
That's
a blue
cool.
eye and a green eye.
Very cool.
She was so cool.
I'm-
Give it
I'm
up for
with it.
It's
Jasmine.
so crazy once you start to like look at the ultrasounds and stuff, because then I can see that like she has my nose
Aw.
and
does.
little things. Because with our family, I'm a little bit lighter than my mom, but I look exactly like my mom, who looks exactly like her mom. The gene, like my sister we don't look alike. She
Mm-mm.
got different genes, but that line is just super strong.
Mm.
When we're kids, we look like and your family is like that.
Yeah,
too.
we all look this very
like you're cut from the
Uniform.
same.
cut from the same.
Yeah.
Like because
Those
my
dominant genes.
it's dominant genes. We call it the Vaya genes, right?
That
But
are
it's
like hella cute.
it is, but it's like my sister just had a baby last year.
Mhm.
He's what 7 months now ish. He was born last May, but I got to see him yesterday, and he has long hair, like wavy, and he's a cryobank baby. He's half Armenian, but the donor was Armenian, so like she did it by her own. She's a single mom, but you know the baby looks exactly like all of us and looks exactly identical to me when I look like
No
a baby.
way.
Yep.
And like he's and it's pretty much the same thing. Like I come from a family, like I'm Central American, Nicaraguan, Guatemalan, so it goes from like super light, like European white, to all the way like Afro Latina,
Yeah.
like very in the middle. Like me and my sisters are different shades of brown.
Yeah, your cousin has
Um,
like black hair,
White.
skin, and
Like,
blue eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had to scour the whole cryobank Rolodex dictionary, if you will, of sperm donors to find one with curly hair, because that was
The
one
only
of
thing I
Jay's
cared about.
non-negotiables.
Really?
And
I
Really?
love curly
I
hair.
promise you, the moment she pops it out, and if he doesn't have curly hair, I'm so nervous.
I'm so scared for you.
That's a recessive. Do you have curly hair?
Yeah.
Wait. No,
But it's
your
my egg, yeah.
Do you have curly hair?
I did, but
Okay.
then it
So
it
that's a
grew
good
out.
sign.
I mean, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna be like my mom in that sense, where it's reverse Uno. I'm gonna be like, I put the order in. I paid extra for the curly hair, and you don't have curly hair.
You're gonna be like
Either
just
way, but yeah.
curling that boy's hair.
Well, for
Honestly,
sure, because we're doing reciprocal,
Baby
so for
perm.
sure, I think the girl will most likely. Because I had like
Yeah, you did.
really curly hair, like curly
Eden's egg
smooth.
is starting gender, female.
Starting gender.
Is that right?
Starting gender.
Yeah.
Only male.
Oh, starting gender, male.
Male.
Yeah.
I only have 2 boys. Yeah,
Mm.
Wait, you have how many embryos do you have?
just 2. Well, 1.5.
One.
One that's a grade A. One that's like
Yeah.
should.
C minus D.
The other one's like a C minus.
Ah,
Probably
got it.
won't use
got
it,
you.
but
Like 15% chance.
yeah. But you did it.
I did.
But it's still something.
Oh,
Yeah, we have that one boy.
there.
He's gonna stick. I have a feeling he's gonna stick. Then-
Yeah.
Jay has a whole soccer team. 6 perfect embryos. 3 boys, 3 girls.
Grade A.
Grade A.
I had 6.
You had
Wait.
6.
Did I? 5.
5.
Heck
Because
yeah.
fertilizing eggs is harder than fertilizing
Yes.
like right to embryos.
And you got 3 boys and 2 girls.
But all this stuff can be so complicated. And I think we tried to just do home insemination at one point because we were like, why are we making it so complicated? It's so complicated.
It's so
Let's just
complicated.
be crazy. Because my ex-girlfriend had a donor that was a friend. And they're like, yeah, let's just like do home insemination. And I was like, I can be like Kayla. Like, I guess my competitive thing. I was like, I want to have a breezy life. I want to do something that's like just at home.
I'm
And I
not
was-
the only competitive one in this.
I'm pretty.
fertility
Okay,
race.
no, Tay says they're not competitive, but they
I
are so
win.
competitive. You're so
That's
competitive.
different.
Oh,
Tay always does win. That's true.
Maybe I just picked the things that I'm good at, which is not good to do. You should whatever. What's happening? This isn't my show. The baby, the home insemination. And so we
insemination.
just really were like, okay, I've read enough books. Maybe we can do this. And I think I went about it and I was just, we did it. And I really do think something happened.
Mhm.
But I also was kind of breezy about it. Like I didn't stop drinking and I'm not telling anybody how to like live their life. But for me personally, and I didn't take, any additional supplements or anything like that. And when we found out that I wasn't pregnant, my period started, for the both of us, it just felt like my heart split open.
Mhm.
And I think we found out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And it sucked because I had got us tickets to Sweetheart Night at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So both of us were eating like fancy ass pasta, like waiting for Fantasmic to have it, like, you stop crying, you stop crying. And it was like a pain I hadn't felt. I tried pretty hard to like guard myself against shitty feelings, and I probably shouldn't be like that. I probably should cry more and stuff. But every now and then Roxy sees me when I lose my shit.
Yeah.
And that was a time when I was trying hard to, keep it in so we could get our money's worth of the fucking Disneyland
Yeah.
tickets. But
I mean, we made it a positive trip as much as we
yeah. No, it became a good trip because we kind of, it helped strengthen our resolve to next time around, like we're not fucking around.
Yeah.
And the
that makes
next
a difference too.
because we couldn't anybody who's listening or whatever who's had miscarriage or had to deal with infertility when you're trying to implant and it doesn't take, it's I'll immediately just start feeling regret of like what could I have done differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so this time around when we did the transfer, it was like I'm not moving I'm not moving from this spot until we know that all of the basically I started to breathe a sigh of relief after 8 weeks because that's when you graduate. These are bad, that's the toxic words. When you graduate from reproductive endocrinology to a regular OBGYN.
Yeah.
And I guess some babies come into the world in all different ways with planning and not planning and everything. And I think it was just our path to be very exact about it.
Yeah.
And I knew that I needed to be very exact about it because I couldn't have that experience happen again as far as I could control it.
Fair.
I think just one last note is that exactly what you're explaining is kind of what I'm most nervous for. I'm very excited to go on this journey with you, and we're ready. We've been ready. If anything, we've just been waiting for things to slow down a little bit so we can do exactly what you're saying. Like, feel like we gave it 100%. Like, let's try not to be stressed. Let's get on the massages. Let's do the clean eating, the no alcohol, so we can
I recommend acupuncture.
acupuncture, so we can
Mhm.
walk
Before and after? Just
Yeah.
before.
Well, leading up to it, like if you would start now,
Okay.
like once a week now,
Okay.
and then the people will recommend however they tell you to do it, but then like the week before, maybe do it like twice that week, the day before and then the day after, because it stimulates the blood
Okay.
going to.
Well, we'll put a call out for a good acupuncture.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
There's also like group acupuncture.
Oh, I did community acupuncture.
There are
because
some like that.
I'm coming off of a strike, y'all. We are on food
Acupuncture.
stamps. We did
Acupuncture on
the
a
food
budget.
stamp
You were
acupuncture.
saying to you?
I mean, that's something I'm really, we're preparing ourselves for, and I'm obviously really excited to start this new journey because we've built, these embryos and ready to, bring them to life. But because I have essentially one, I think that's just my like biggest fear, right? Is that there's just so much riding on this one. It's like all of my eggs are literally in one basket. No pun intended, but here we are. And it would shatter my world, and I'm trying not to think of it that way, but if I'm honest, I'm just being like completely unfiltered. I'm deathly terrified and scared that it won't work. And that's just like the one that I have. And not to say that like your other 6 beautiful embryos, we're going to give all of them a shot. But I'm excited to make him work, but I'm also so scared. Because of it, I want it so bad to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a very real fear. And then we like put our whole life online. And like when we did this round one time already with you and it didn't work out the way that we did, to then have to like explain to everybody in real time, like it didn't go according to plan. And it's hard and it sucks and it hurts. And we're sad because we spent so much money
And time.
Mhm.
and time and hope and coming out a million times to get here, and we're right back at square one. So those are like
Yeah.
real things that we all had to go through, and I'm excited for us to just be in each other's corner and each other's circle. And thank you for being on this podcast with us and being
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
real with us and riding the waves and riding in the van and checking on the van. And
I just
I
wanna-
checked on that van.
I just want to say, like, regardless of what happens, because I know we're gonna have a kid. Like, it's happening.
Yeah.
Whether it's the first embryo or the 6 that I've got, like, it's coming. And so is yours. And I just feel like they're so lucky to have such cool Theos and
PAs.
PAs.
Tatis.
Yeah.
In their life, and I feel like they're already up in life, They already have like a cool posse, and I can't imagine, like, I'm already envisioning them like checking everybody and like talking about equal rights and like fucking just like checking everybody on like the history. And
Our kids are gonna have the coolest birthday parties.
Yeah, that's
because
what
we
I'm
know how to throw
saying.
parties.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I think like something that our OB said, because I was like, well, we're gonna have to change this and change this about our life and blah blah, and she just said, "Welcome to parenthood," and I think that was really seminal for me. Like it really stood out for me because I think before that point, I was thinking, oh, parenthood is something that is happening later. I'm gonna have to change my life later. And when she was, because I'm not gonna go off I'm not gonna go off on a tangent, pregnancy brain. I'm not gonna go off on a tangent too much, but like when you get pregnant, there's all this other stuff like, oh shit, I didn't know about that. Oh shit, what? Like it's a whole other journey of things that scare you, but everything will be fine. But it's like, I was like, oh, I need to do these lifestyle changes or these lifestyle changes when I have a kid. And my doctors were like, no, your life as a parent starts now. And you have to, like, if you want this kid, you can't do half measures because otherwise you're not serious about it. Like, that's basically what they were telling us. And we had already had we already knew what it was like to experience loss. And so that was fresh with us. And so that's where, like, we're not fucking around. Yeah. But no matter what happens, we're, like, absolutely going to be there for y'all.
Yeah.
Same.
Even if that means, like, because I know for when Tay was going through their experience, like, it's a lot of sometimes you're gonna be stuck bedridden. Like, that's how it's gonna happen, maybe, and you're not gonna have a lot of energy, and eating. You might have to do a lot of things and put in your hands, but you know, we know what it is. We know we've been in that position before, and we're always more than happy to just like come over and just be like, hey, out. And just, like be like, Eden, go calm down, go take care of Jay. We will get this done, that done. And you
Yeah,
have
you've
a
got
great
friends, man.
you have friends that really care about you and are willing to come like do anything for you, and that's us included.
I think we're just so used to being like the strong figures to take care of everybody else. We
Mhm.
don't know what it's like to be taken care of. And I think even when we had our when your first round of embryos didn't work and pulling out your eggs didn't work, I think we booked a trip to Miami, and I don't remember half of it like that way. I don't know if that was the healthiest way we handled it, but we're learning as we go, and we're so thankful that we have you all now. And
Like,
thank you so
you.
much for
sure.
being here.
We're thankful
and
to have y'all.
Yeah.
Something I'm learning right now is that strength in this situation means asking for help.
Yeah.
I'm having to do it right now, and I fucking hate it.
Also, like, just for people listening, also, if you're going into this fertility journey, like, make sure you're doing it with the right person or the right people, because the problem, like, this is not an easy road. This is very emotionally taxing. It is emotionally, you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna get angry, you're gonna get through a lot of emotions and a lot of bullshit obstacles. But the most important thing that you need to focus on when going through this journey is making sure you're going through it with the person that you want to, and that's like ride die for it. And
Or like your sister going through it alone too.
Yeah.
Like
Which
just
is
making sure you
great.
are checking in with yourself and checking in and doing it with the right person too.
Mhm.
And I think there's a lot to be said to have a plan.
Yeah.
So if this goes well, what is our plan? If this doesn't go well, what is our plan?
Mhm.
And we can only control so much, and things will not always go according to plan, but whatever is going to happen and whatever is meant to be, that's gonna happen, and we're just gonna pivot. And now their world
Border
is on
Patrol's
fire
back.
again. I think that's their sign to like cut this. So without further ado, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Coming to
Thank you.
Unfiltered. And thank you again for tuning in this Sunday. Every Sunday at 8 a.m. These will go live. We're excited to be back on YouTube. We're excited to be back at the podcast place. Thank you again, Solomon, for having us.
Of course.
And we'll see everybody on our next stop in Miami. And
I think it's SF. It's
SF,
Miami. And then it's Mexico. No, yeah, Mexico. And then it's Pride season. And I have no idea what we're going to do. At some point, I'm supposed to get pregnant within all that.
pregnancy brain, y'all. We have pregnancy brain already. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.